Hello, buddy. So this is a message for the spiritual industry, specifically that in the UK, and I want to talk about why it's important to be aware of things like the Epstein files and what's really going off with the world that we live in. Okay, now I'm not going to go into the details because it's all there. You know what I mean? Um, Now, it's important that you're aware of this and don't just bury your head in the sand and pretend it's not there so you can just raise your own vibration, etc., etc. Because you have there's a specific reason why you are supposed to be doing what you're doing. Now, I'm not going to fudge over the fact that, like, what, 70% of the people within the spiritual industry are just fakes, frauds, selfish egomaniacs and narcissists, because they are, and there's no way of getting around that. They just think about themselves. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't start off with the right intentions, but they've become corrupted. Okay, I'm talking to the genuine ones who are scared, who don't want to do this and are worried about their brand and their reputation. Now, Urban Warlock Healing has the privilege, if you want to call it that, of basically being able to say and do whatever the hell I want, because my brand is based around authenticity, going into the dark side, coming out the other side stronger, and facing those demons and that trauma. That's what I preach, right? So I get that I have a different ability to get away with the stuff that I put out there. Now, some of you will have recently noticed the little promo package I did for Spirit of Shakti. And I'm sure that, within Reiki terms, it's probably seen as quite edgy. Now, it's supposed to be. Why? Because much like me, Lucy has been to the depths of hell several times. I'm sure she won't mind me saying this, and come out the other side stronger. Now, with my reading style and with her healing style, we are here for people who are ready to make that real change. Okay. Things like Reiki as lots of different benefits and different levels to it, etc., etc. And the core demographic that we are aiming for is a younger demographic, a younger generation who has lived through this hell. Now, I'm not saying that other people haven't, but the way that your business is set up, the way that your delivery style is set up, it's for a different clientele, and that's perfectly fine. Now, the reason why it's important to be aware of what's going off there, really going off there in the world, is because basically, if you have a client that comes to you, because so something that a lot of people don't know about Reiki, for example, a lot of Reiki healers, when they're actually tapped in, when they're really, attuned, they see things. Stuff comes to them. They can see the horror of the person's past. Might not be the exact detail, but it's imagery, it's graphics, it's stuff like that. Now, if you're not aware of what's going off, and then all of a sudden you have this influx of clients that are coming along and you're picking up on that trauma, how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to deal with that? Now, for me personally, and I've said this in content already, is the Epstein files and stuff like that horrific? Yeah, of course it is. Is it disturbing me? No, because I've been aware of the true horrors and the true nature of the world for some time, even when I didn't piece together. So, case in point, my childhood abuser, who was also a child at the time, was kind of almost playing out some kind of ritualistic stuff in the abuse that they were doing to me. And for years and years and years, I've always wondered what was that about. This all comes out. It starts to make sense to me, and this is why I say it's all of them. It's all of them. This isn't just the elites at the top. This kind of ritualistic abuse goes through societies. There'll be people down the road that are doing this. Okay, so it's important that we wake up to this fact, because otherwise you're going to be doing a healing. And side note, I'm not just talking to the Reiki healers here, because I am aware that there's a few reflexologists out on the circuit who kind of channel and pick stuff up as well. It's important that you make yourself aware of this, because otherwise how are you going to help that client? How are you going to treat them properly? Much like if you're a reader or a thought therapist, a hypnotherapist, etc., etc. be aware there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out, because like I say, it is all of them, right? And what happens is this stuff comes out, the people who haven't dealt with that trauma, it gets unlocked, and then they come to people like us to try and help them. Okay. Now, this is probably going to trigger some of you, but if you are completely and utterly disturbed and I can't take looking at this, what that means is that you have not dealt with your trauma. Okay. I'm not saying that there won't be a shock factor there. Of course there will. But if it puts you into a spiral of trauma, despair, and triggering to the point where you feel like I can't even look at it, then you're carrying trauma. And personally, you should not be treating people. You should not be doing this until you have dealt with that. Okay? Now, leave the truth speaking to people like me. This is the weapon of source. This, right? This is why people keep attacking this, right? I'm quite happy to be the voice piece. I'm a content creator. I'm a preacher. That is my role, okay? I'm not saying share all this stuff like I'm doing, but what I'm saying is be aware of it, and where possible, support people like me, okay? If you want any help with your branding, I'm quite happy to do it. It won't be the same as Spirit of Shakti, because we are revolutionizing the delivery and branding of things like Reiki healing, okay? I'm fully aware there's lots of you like, oh shit, right? Okay, that's perfectly fine. I'm quite happy to help you. It will come at a bit of a cost because it's my time, effort, and energy. But I'm quite happy to help you, but you've got to come forwards, right? But that is the angle that we are going for, okay? The light in the dark is here, and she is ready to help. So yes, be aware of it. Because otherwise I'm going to start questioning. Are you carrying trauma? Have you dealt with that trauma? No? Should you be helping people until you've dealt with that trauma? Yes. So there you go. Be more aware. Stop running away from this. Ta-ta.